Hi guys, so this week you're going to be working on task 5 and 6 in your booklet. This is looking at Teesha Moore, so we'll follow this with a little explanation of how to go in and analyse her work, similar to how you did with Tom Phillips, and also a task on recreating some patterns in her style, so there'll be a video following this for both of them.
So work hard over this next week and over half term, and we will see you in a couple of weeks' time with the next task. Stay safe.
Okay, so for task 5, this is another artist analysis. This time you're looking at the work of Teesha Moore, and you've got a sheet in your pack with various examples of her work. As with last time, there's a kind of grading criteria for each level. So think about the target grade that you're aiming for and make sure that you are covering this in full. For a grade 1, you just need to add some simple bullet points noting your observations. So pick one of the pieces and talk about the things that you can see in just bullet form points. Um, you might talk about the color, you might talk about the other images she uses, you might talk about the patterns or the words that she uses in her work, and just jot down those bullet points. For a grade 2, we need that to be more descriptive, so go into more detail and use full sentences. And then for a grade 3, we need to hear more about your own personal opinions. For a grade 4 or 5, and also for grades above that, we'd also like to see a bit of background information on Teesha Moore. So you can find plenty of information about her on her website or on other websites online. Can I just remind all of you that you need to put this into your own words. It's no good just copying and pasting an extract from the internet and pasting it in. You need to read it, understand it, and then communicate that in your own words. To go for the highest grade boundaries, we'd like to see you thinking about the links between her work and the works of Tom Phillips and make some comments comparing the similarities and differences between the two of them. So, this is Teesha Moore. Um, I really like this first opening statement that she's put on here. I think it tells us a lot about who she is as an artist in person. I am mad about creating on the pages of my journal. I believe in following your passions. I spend time in the company of trees. I love my man, boast about our 2 grown daughters, and sing when no one else is around. I drive fast cars too. To me, that statement, and to some extent the picture as well, give us a sense of how quirky this artist can be. And I think she shows us that also in her work. So I'm going to just talk through this particular image of hers, just as an example of how you might go about interpreting the piece in your own way. You don't have to use this one. You can use any from the sheet, or if you have a look at her website, if you find another image that you prefer, then work from that. So, what do we see in this image? Well, first of all, if I'm describing the composition, I can see a large character to the left-hand side of the page. This large character has 2 different types of eyes, and then what appears to be a photocopied face underneath it. There are lines going around the shape of the face, and there are little crosses adding pattern over the top of it. There's an awful lot of pattern around one of the eyes, and then that pattern also feeds into the rest of the image. The colours on this one are predominantly green and black, but that pink that she's put on really jumps out. And I think the vibrant colours she's using here really tie in with her quirky style. Then, if we focus on some of the words that she's put in, she's put, when you think at that moment that it's possible, then the magic starts. So, this is quite an optimistic and empowering statement talking about how you can make magic and make things that might seem hard become possible. It's that moment when you realize something is possible, then it opens up so many other options to you. There's also a sentence at the bottom, I will protect you, and you can see how that's sheltering the image of a man in the bottom right hand corner, and my wing will be your shelter. Now, that idea of a wing and sheltering someone with your wing is very nurturing. And if we think about her statement on her website, talking about how she loves to boast about her children and how much she loves her man, I think this is one of her ways of showing that nurturing side of her character. You can see how she tries to build on that theme as well, in the way that she's used collage to create what appears to be a sort of feather pattern where her body would be. And again, look at all the different patterns and textures that you see within each of those separate feathers. To add to that, I can also see in the pattern in the middle of the image, which is the white and brown lightest part of the image, potentially something that might look like a bird's head. So again, we've got this idea of this kind of mothering, loving, nurturing creature that's perhaps looking after her young. So pick your own images. Make sure you take account of the grade boundaries and what you need to be aiming for. Make sure you're pushing yourself with that as well. There is also another sheet inside the pack that will help you scaffold an analysis so you can use that for reference.